One of the founders of Rolls-Royce, the Honorary Charles Rolls, once said, "The electric car is perfectly noiseless and clean. There is no smell and vibration. They should become very useful once fixed charging stations can be arranged." Mind you, this was said back in 1900, which is more than 100 years ago. And more than 100 years since that was said, well, Rolls-Royce now finally has its first electric car. It is the Rolls-Royce Spectre, and it is now in Malaysia. Now let's first address what the Rolls-Royce Spectre is. It is an ultra-luxury electric coupe, which means it is the first of its kind. Now styling-wise, it has been designed with cues from a racing yacht, and aerodynamically, it is the most aerodynamic Rolls-Royce ever with a drag coefficient of 0.25. Now it's not as slippery as a Mercedes-Benz EQS with a drag coefficient of 0.2, but mind you, it is actually more aerodynamic than a Rimac Navara with a drag coefficient of 0.3. Now, what are the things that make it aerodynamic? Well, first things first, let's take a look at the front grille. Looking at the front, you might not realize that this is actually an electric Rolls-Royce. It might just look like a normal internal combustion engine Rolls-Royce since it maintains the grille design. But look closer, and the grille is actually a bit different. The vanes are slanted to direct air to the sides of the car, and if you look behind it, there is a sandblasted panel. Next thing is the spirit of ecstasy, which if you look closely, you'll notice looks different than the other spirit of ecstasies that you find on other Rolls-Royce. It has undergone 820 hours of design modeling and wind tunnel testing to make it more aerodynamic, further contributing to the 0.25 drag coefficient of the car. And of course, under the massive grille is the lower grille, which gets active vents. Together with the grille that maintains the Rolls-Royce look is the split headlight design. Now come to the sides and we'll see the 23-inch wheels, which are the biggest wheels ever fitted on a Rolls-Royce, and these are wrapped in Pirelli P0 Elect tires. As usual, the Rolls-Royce emblem at the center is always upright. Move further to the side and take a step back and you will see just how big the Rolls-Royce Spectre is. It is over 5 meters long and almost 2 meters wide. Now, one interesting thing about the Rolls-Royce Spectre is that it comes with an evolved version of the planar suspension system, which means that it can decouple the anti-roll bars to suit different driving conditions. Swooping all the way to the back is the largest body panel ever on a Rolls-Royce, and it stretches all the way from the A-pillar until the cargo compartment. And this leads us right into the taillights, which have been purposely made clear in anticipation of the various bespoke color selections. In the performance department, the Rolls-Royce Spectre has a dual-motor electric setup, and this provides a combined output of 584 horsepower and 900 Newton meters of torque. This translates to a century sprint time of 4.5 seconds. As for battery and range, we have a 102 kilowatt-hour battery pack in the Spectre, and this gives a range of 530 kilometers on the WLTP test cycle. Now, this range may sound like a lot to the average EV owner, but according to Rolls-Royce, this isn't even much, and they didn't bother too much with it since the average Rolls-Royce owner owns 7 cars and only drives their Rolls-Royce for an average of 5,100 kilometers per year. Now, the Rolls-Royce Spectre introduces a lot of digitalization to the Rolls-Royce brand. So at the dashboard itself, we get 3 screens, one for the passenger, one at the center, and one for the digital instrument cluster. The nice thing about the Rolls-Royce Spectre, well, it does still maintain a lot of physical buttons like the aircon controls. So these are still physical and actually very nice to touch. The head unit operating system may look a little familiar to you, and in case you're wondering, yes, it does come with wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. The Spirit digital architecture of luxury means that clients can select the color of the instrument dials to match the rest of the car. What's new for a Rolls-Royce are the illuminated stars on the door panels. So now you get 4,796 stars on the door panels, 1,200 stars on the headliner, and 5,500 stars in the front passenger screen. That should be enough to make the cabin feel celestial. As for the center console, you get 2 cup holders at the front, a controller for the head unit, and a decently sized armrest storage with USB-C ports. The seats are perhaps the most comfortable ones you can find out there, and you can spec these however you want with the color combinations. What's nice in the Spectre is that it also uses real metal for the aircon vents. Just listen to that sound. Now, to access the rear seats, you simply have to pull this lever right here on these seats. Seats will fold down and they would actually automatically move forward, giving you space to go into the second row seats. Now, this is a proper 4-seater and not just a 2+2, so there's ample space for 4 adults in here. It might be an EV, but we still actually get this center tunnel right here, so a proper armrest for all 4 occupants in the Rolls-Royce Spectre. Boot space is rated at 380 litres, which is quite small considering the size of the car, but keep in mind that this is an ultra-luxury electric coupe with emphasis on the coupe part of it. Don't worry, it can still fit 2 golf bags easily. The doors on the Spectre are what Rolls-Royce calls the effortless doors. They are motorized, and when you step on the brake pedal, the driver door closes automatically. The doors are also a bit clever thanks to the G-force sensors inside them. This means that regardless if you're parked on a slope or a flat surface, the doors open and close at the same speed all the time. A few more interesting facts about the doors. Well, these are the largest doors ever on a Rolls-Royce, and they measure 1.5 meters long. And as you'd expect in a Rolls-Royce, well, we get umbrellas hidden in the door jambs here. So there you have it. That is the first Rolls-Royce electric car, and it is the Rolls-Royce Spectre, and it is the first of many more to come, as Rolls-Royce will become a fully electric brand by 2030. The Rolls-Royce Spectre in Malaysia will start at a price of 2 million ringgit before options. For more information on the Rolls-Royce Spectre, head on to AutoBuzz.my.